Hello there. Almost everywhere I read the ignorance about the country where I live, the Netherlands. When asked in the USA, 90% of the people don't even know, and the ones that have heard of it think we live in windmills, behind levees, and walk around on wooden shoes. Okay, that is a little overstated, but fact is, the ignorance about said windmills and levees also leads to ridiculing the whole subject of the Netherlands. That is why I decided to make some videos to show what they are laughing about. This is part 1. We are not living behind levees. According to the Merriam-Webster online dictionary definition of levee, first, A. An embankment for preventing flooding. B. River landing place, pier. Second, a continuous dike or ridge, as of earth, for confining the irrigation areas of land to be flooded. The second definition comes the closest, a continuous dike or ridge. To explain some things, the Netherlands is a country of which 59% of its land surface is below sea level. This varies from 1 meter, about 3 feet, to on some places even 15 meter, which is almost 50 feet, that would all be flooded without our modern system of delta dikes. And these dikes are really massive. To show you firsthand how massive these dikes actually are, we need to take a trip to the Frisian coast. Here we are on the A7 highway that runs from the German border in the north, down to Amsterdam. We will try to take a look at our Dike, which is the dam that connects the northern provinces. It was constructed between 1927 and 1932 and created the Great Lake in the north middle of the country. But it does not look good. There are rain clouds ahead. Yuck. Here we have the typical Dutch weather. Let's turn around and go the other way. This rain limits the view, so there is no point to show the enclosement dike and the locks of Cornwarders, and at this moment, we can go there another time. Perhaps we can stay dry long enough to film the dikes on the other side of Harlingen. The city of Harlingen has the only port in the province with direct access to sea. The weather ahead looks much better. Blue sky, and a couple of clouds, and most of all, no rain. On November 1, 1570, Frisia was devastated by the All Saints flood, which flooded almost the entire region. Major damage and broken dikes were the results. Dike repairs were urgently needed, but the Frisians could not agree on costs. Thanks to the efforts of Caspar de Robles, the Spanish governor until the start of the 80 Years' Independence War, it was quickly agreed to close and strengthen the dikes, especially around Harlingen. This dike which you see on the left is still named the Caspar de Robles dike, even though it was brought to a new delta height in the 1970s. Yeah, we didn't like the Spaniards, but I have to admit there were some that were not that bad. What you see here is part of the recent city renewal plan to streamline the traffic on the N31 motorway that splits the city in half. This used to be a single two-lane road that also ran on top of a dike. Now this dike has gone and the new double two-lane motorway goes under the street level. For the city it is still there, but kind of invisible to the view. This is where we go off, in the direction of the industrial harbor of Harlingen. We are almost there. This, in Dike, tidal harbor was also created in the 1970s. We are now driving over the delta dike that is surrounding this harbor. And finally we are at our destination, time for the camera to drop from its holder. But fortunately, Ned's son also has a camera, so here we drive down to the base of the northwest, or the Rapta Dike, where this pumping station stood on top dominating the view for over 100 years. On this old picture from the 1960s, you can see how the rooftop of the house to the left is at the same level as the top of the old dike. All this had to go when the dike was raised to the modern delta height. And here on the right we pass the new modern pumping station, built in the 1970s. This looks like a good place to park and look what's on the other side. You have already seen how higher dikes are from the land side looking up, and from the top you can also see how wide they are. Look who we have here, the man Ned, himself. Looking out over the waters, he sailed for years. This is how delta dike works. They actually are calculated and designed to provide maximum storm surge protection. Upwards from the seabed, the first layer to slow down the water is a row of big round boulders, which are underwater now. The second layer is made of basalt, which because of its unique form is laid like a puzzle along the slope of the dike. This will not move and in fact become more sturdy after each storm. About 25 meters upwards they are fixed with asphalt, to prevent first layer moving upwards. Then what looks like a road surface is an asphalt layer that is designed that the waves that actually reach that will break the next wave while flowing back to the sea. The roots of the grass top keep the clay firmly anchored together. You might have seen this when we walked up, This is not a crack in the dike, but actually a trail left by the sheep that graze on the dikes during summer. When the wind is blowing alongside the dike, they always walk single file to keep each other, more or less out of the wind. Suddenly the rain has caught up with us, so this is the end of the visit to the Frisian dikes. Now let's go to our Afsluit dike, which is the name of the enclosure dam and causeway that connects the two northern provinces of the Netherlands. The A7 highway which runs over it connects Amsterdam and the province of North Holland to the north of Germany and the northeast of our country. We could not show the Afsluit dike in our video because of the rain that, as you could see at the end, became quite nasty. The Dutch climate is one of beautiful summers, sometimes interrupted by some rainy days. But in the winter season we can have fierce storms. Because we have a long coastline where the North Sea swell pushes up to the shoreline, this is the main reason we have our water defense system of delta dikes. But it has not always been this way. In the next part of this series, I will go into the history of how the Dutch made the struggle with the sea to an achievement of great wonder and world recognition in this field.